Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you all in this technical session. I'd like to request all the participants to take their seat, please. In the technical session, and today we will have two technical sessions, and in each session we will have three thematic presentations. And before beginning the presentation, I would like to request all the participants to introduce themselves, and I would like to start the introduction by introducing myself. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ranjana Rawal, and I work as a horticulture scientist at Nepal Agriculture Research Council. And I would like to request Promoter to facilitate the introduction.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Sabnam Shivakoti. I work as the Joint Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development. Pleased to be here.
Namaste. My name is Arjun Shrestha. Basically, I'm professor in the Department of Horticulture and also working as a director in the Directorate of Research and Extension, Agriculture and Forest University. Thank you.
Namaste. It's me, Donu Prasad Prasad, Chief of Seed Quality Control Center under the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development.
Namaste. My name is Rita Bastakoti. I represent General Secretary of Farmer Group Federation, Nepal.
Hello. Namaste, everyone. My name is Nanda Joshi. I am with Michigan State University, East Lansing. I'm here to listen to all the crops and vegetables and fruits that I have perhaps forgotten some of them. I'll learn more about it now.
Thank you. Namaskar. I welcome to you all. I'm Kalyani Mishra, Professor of Department of Horticulture. I'm now Chair of the Service Commission here.
Hello, Namaste. It's me, Bimala Acharya Kahal, organic farmer. Since 1 decade, I have been doing organic farming. Thank you. Hello, everybody. I am Durga Dipkota, Professor of Rural Sociology at Agriculture and Forest University, and now is a chairperson of the Forward Nepal.
Hello. Good afternoon. I am Dr. Rezaul, Professor in the Department of Horticulture, Bangladesh Agriculture University, Bangladesh. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Beth Mitchum. As Director of the Horticulture Innovation Lab, you heard from me earlier, but I'm also on the faculty of the Department of Plant Sciences at the University of California, Davis, and my research area focus is in post-harvest biology and technology.
Good afternoon. I'm Vance Baird. I'm the chair of the Horticulture Department at Michigan State University. My area of expertise is more in the molecular biology and biotechnology. And enjoying being here so far. Looking forward to the rest of the meeting.
Namaste all. My name is Nanbadu Thabamaga. Currently, I am working as a senior agriculture officer at Prime Minister Agriculture Modernization Project Implementation Unit. Namaste. This is Prakash Acharya, Senior Corporate Officer.
Namaste. My name is Anjay Shrestha.
Namaste. I am Madhav Ramsad, working as Senior Agriculture Officer at Prime Minister Agriculture Monitoring PIU Center. Thank you.
Namaste. I'm Manu Poken. I'm a farmer and researcher. I'm working in social. I'm interested in what I'm doing. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Janelle Larson. I'm a professor of agricultural economics at Penn State, and I'm the gender specialist for the Horticulture Innovation Lab. And I'm very glad to be here with you this afternoon.
Namaste, I am Kalika Prasad Upadhyay. I am working as a senior scientist under NARC. My specialization is especially vegetable crops, and currently I am working as a director at Directorate of Agricultural Research, Lumle. Thank you.
Namaste and good afternoon, everyone. I am Shanta Karke, Deputy Director General of Department of Agriculture. Thank you.
Namaste, everybody. I'm Riti Singh. Currently, I'm working as Senior Horticulture Development Officer at Department of Agriculture. Thank you.
Namaste and good afternoon to all. I am Purushottam Khatiwada. I work for a project called Value Chain Development of Fruits and Vegetables in Nepal. And the project is managed by UNDP and under the auspices of Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development. Thank you.
Namaste and good afternoon. I'm Santosh Shrestha and I'm a student of vegetable science and also seed science and technology. I'm now representing LeeBird, and in LeeBird I do coordinate projects with related to seed system and participatory plant breeding. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Narayan Khanal. I am working as Business Development Manager under Nepal Seed and Fertilizer Project implemented by Summit. So we are working on 6 value chains, including 3 vegetables, tomato, onion, and cauliflower. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ganga Acharya. I am working as a Senior Program Specialist, Priority Setting and Program Development in NARC Agriculture Center, Bangladesh, Dhaka. Thank you very much.
Namaste and good afternoon. I am Rajendra Koirala, Chief NCFT. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Pushparaj Paurel. I'm from Tribhuvan University Institute of Agriculture and Animal Science at the Department of Horticulture. I'm working with fruit composition and molecular characterization of fruit germ plasma. Thank you.
Namaskar. I'm Balkana Joshi from National Gene Bank.
Good afternoon. I'm Umesh Acharya, Senior Scientist from Nepal Agriculture Research Council. Currently, I am heading National Citrus Research Program at Dhankuta, and my research interest is on post-harvest biology and technology of fruits crop.
Thank you. Namaste and good afternoon to all. I am Anju Adhikari, and I'm currently working as Assistant Professor at Agriculture and Forestry University. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and warm welcome you all. This is Sundar Tiwari, Associate Professor of Entomology at Department of Entomology and Agriculture and Forestry University. Thank you.
Myself, Hari Krishna Panta. Basically, I am an agricultural economist. I have been working as the Associate Professor of Agricultural Economics in the Institute of Agriculture and Animal Science, Tribhuvan University. Thank you.
Namaste, everyone. I am Homnath Giri, working as an Assistant Professor, Department of Horticulture, Agriculture and Forestry University. Thank you.
Namaste and good morning. I am Ram Krishna Deopane, Program Director for Nepal. Previously, I was at NARC. Thank you.
Namaste, I am Giri Subedi, working as a senior scientist from a coordinator at National Potato Research Program under NARC. Thank you.
Namaste, everyone. I'm Sanjay Dhimal, and the horticulturist in Ministry of Agriculture and Development Directorate, and now just retired, and now executive committee member in Nepal Horticultural Society. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Nasrin Sultana. Currently, I am working in NARC Agriculture Center as Senior Program Specialist, Horticulture. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dr. Ferdowsi Islam. I am horticulturist. My research specialization on vegetable research. Now I am working as a director, Bangladesh Agriculture Research Institute, Gazipur, Bangladesh.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I am Dr. Tamanna Haq, a professor at the Department of Horticulture, Bangladesh Agriculture University, Bangladesh. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Otanu Bhattacharjee. I am working with DI Global under Feed the Future Bangladesh Digital Agriculture Activity, and my working area includes market system development, digital agriculture, and climate smart agriculture. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ismail Khan Samim. I am youth entrepreneur of Bangladesh.
আমি মাইনুরুন নাহার, আমি ফার্মাস নুর নাহার কৃষি খামার ঈশ্বরদী পাবনা।
আমি মর্জিনা বেগম, ভার্মি কম্পোস্ট, জৈব বালাইনাশক, নিরাপদ সবজি, বাংলাদেশ, ঝিনাইদহের কালীগঞ্জ।
ভার্মি কম্পোস্ট, পেস্টিসাইড,
Namaste, everyone. My name is Manoj Hital. I am working at Kalimati Fruits and Vegetable Wholesale Marketing Development Board as a Deputy Director.
Namaste. I am Archon Shilwal from Kalimati Development Board members.
Namaste and good afternoon all. I am Sasandip Kota. I am a strawberry grower in Tarai of Nepal, Chitwan. And I also do a dual job, like I'm assistant professor of entomology at National Polytechnic Institute. Thank you.
Namaste. I am Dinesh Prasad Sapkota. I am working as Senior Horticulture Development Officer at Vegetable Crop Development Center, Khomaltar.
Namaste, good afternoon. My name is Susan Pia. I'm from USAID. I work in Economic Growth Office in USAID. Thank you very much.
Namaskar. I'm Nitish Kumar Paudel from R&D Innovative Solution Private Limited. I'm working as a technical head. Thank you.
Namaste, everybody. I'm Srijana Neopane. I'm from Chiton and currently working as Technical Research Officer for Forward. Thank you.
Namaskar, everyone. My name is Manisha Shrestha, and I am currently working as a Technical Research Officer in the Forward Nepal. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Namaste. I am Pramila Wagle from Department of Agriculture. I am working as an Horticulture Development Officer. Thank you.
Namaskar. I am Krishna Paudel, working as a horticulture scientist at Nepal Agriculture Research Council. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I am Umanath Sharma. I am Assistant Professor at Center for Biotechnology of the Agriculture and Forestry University. Thank you.
Namaskar, everyone. I'm Swastika Shrestha, currently an undergraduate at Agriculture and Forestry University. Thank you.
Namaste. I am Lalbad Setri, working as Assistant Professor at Department of Horticulture, Agriculture and Forestry University. Thank you.
Namaste. I am Ram Hariti Milsina, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Agriculture Extension and Rural Sociology at AFU. Thank you.
Namaste, Savajana. My name is Shristi Chaudhary from USAID Nepal. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Krishna here. I'm the project manager for this workshop, and I'm working as a principal investigator as well. Thank you. And I thank you, everyone, for your participation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Vishal Shrestha, Assistant Professor, Department of Horticulture, Agriculture and Forestry University. Thank you.
Hi, namaste and good morning. This is Pramod Gautam. I'm from Forward Nepal. Thank you.
Namaskar, everyone. I'm Pujan Basal, IT officer at Agriculture and Forestry University. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for the introduction. Now, I would like to request Director of DOREX, Technical Lead of Horticulture Innovation Lab Project in Nepal, Professor Dr. Arjun Kumar Shrestha, to kindly come forward and provide some guideline for running this technical session.
Thank you, Dr. Ranjana. In our event schedule, there will be 3 presentations. Each presentation has to be completed within 15 minutes. So there will be 3 presentations. So it will take 45 minutes for these 3 presentations, and that presentation will be followed by discussion, because we give more emphasis on the active interaction among the participants to have their conclusive idea about this particular theme. So I request all the participants to be very active during the interactive discussion. For each session, we will have chairperson, of course, and there will be 3 rapporteurs. So after the completion of 3 presentations, we will divide the participants into 3 groups, and there will be 1 rapporteur for each group, and we will collect the feedback in the meta card from each each subgroup. So that's all about the way we want to move forward during the presentation and collecting the feedback from the participant. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shrestha. Now we'll go to we'll start our technical session officially, and I would like to request Mrs. Shabnam Sibakoti, Joint Secretary of Department of Agriculture, Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, to chair the first technical session. And I will also like to request Dr. Krishna Paudel, Dr. Prakash Ashare, and Mr. Umanath Sharma to take the responsibility of rapporteur. And I'll request Mrs. Shabnam to take the lead.
Thank you, Madam. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me also in the morning session, and my apology that I couldn't attend the morning session, but I'm glad that I'm able to chair this first technical session. So as a chair of the session, I would like to invite you all to this first technical session. I can see that many of my professors in the hall and a lot of my colleagues, and I can also see the representative from the Penn State University, Michigan State University. Similarly, we have representation from SARC Agriculture Center, universities in Nepal, departments from the Farmers Federation, and many other experts. And as I understood that this is a 3 days workshop, and we will try to find out the challenges and the opportunities in the agriculture sector, particularly horticulture sector, particularly in the national context and also in the regional context. So without further ado, I would like to begin the presentation session, and also housekeeping rule was briefed by Dr. Arjun also. I see that there are 3 presentations. One is focusing on the status, opportunities, and constants, and the way forward, probably way forward, particularly focusing on the fruits in the South and South Asia region. Similarly, the second session, the second presentation will be focusing on the fruits in the region, and similarly we'll have post-harvest management of fruits and vegetables in South and South Asia region. So what is the current context? What are the challenges, and what could be the way forward so that we can find out the research agenda for the research institutions also, and also for the development agenda. So I would like to request our first presenter, Dr. Mohammed Rezaul Karim, it's difficult to read here, from the Bangladesh Agriculture University. So you have 15 minutes, sir. So over to you. Thank you.
So distance. This is the only pointer. This one is pointer. Okay, good afternoon. I'm Rezaul Karim, professor in the Department of Horticulture. So from now on, I'm going to talk on the current status, opportunity, constraints, and way forward for the sustainable development of food sector in South and Southeast Asia. Please, next. So we know actually what is the importance of fruits. Fruits is very important to keep our body healthy, and who World Health Organization recommended for 200 gram. Actually, this is not 200, 400 gram, including fruits and vegetables. But when we separately say about the fruit, we can divide into two and say the 200 gram at least. But yet most of the people in the world, at least in South and Southeast Asia region, do not eat or consume the recommended dose of fruits. Then what's the consequence of low eating of the fruits? There is a report in 2017, 3.9 million death occurs due to the low consumption of fruits, and these are 14% from gastrointestinal cancer, 11% from heart disease, and 19% from the stroke. So these are the non-communicable disease occurred due to the low consumption of fruits and vegetables. Please, next one. So actually how fruits save our life. So we can see there are a lot of color here. The fruits and fruits, we can see the yellow, violet, red. So these are the presence of please. These contains essential vitamins, minerals, kind of antioxidants, and other phytochemicals. And very important things is dietary fiber. And due to the presence of these chemicals or nutrients, they save our life and they have the health benefit like this, please. So these are the non-communicable disease. We can, if we consume the recommended dose or recommended quantity of fruits, then we can save our life. So this one. Okay, thank you. So this is just the slide, the distribution of fruit in the world perspective. So we can see the different types of fruits grows in the globe, in the different area of the globe. So this is actually the total fruit production in the globe during the 1 decade, and it's ranged from 2010 to 2020. And we can see during the 2010 to 20, fruit production is increased by about 20%. So worldwide fruit production started during 2000 to 2018 by continent. From here, sorry. So major fruit production is in Asia here, and the total production is the world fruit production is by about half during the 2000 to 2008, and the biggest increase found in the Asia. So this is all about the another slides in the different region. The fruits is growing here, and we can see here in Asia, East Asia, actually the highest fruit production, including the China, and the second is the South Asia. So we are living in the South Asia. South Asia is the leading fruit production. Then is the South America, and then is Southeast Asia, and this is the South Europe on. So the summarization was here. The biggest increase in East Asia during the last decade, actually, where China is the largest producer, about more than 240 million tons of the fruits. So now I'm going to talk, because we are find out the challenges, constraints in the South and Southeast Asia. So I have to talk about little bit on the agricultural condition in Southeast Asia and South Asia. So sorry. Sorry. Oh. So this region is in South Asia, and these are the countries in the Southeast Asia. So contribution of agriculture in South and Southeast Asia in the total GDP. So we can see here the Southeast Asia contribute 24% to the total GDP, agriculture actually, and South Asia is the 27%. So these two regions contribute more than 50% in the national GDP of those countries. So agriculture is the dominant activity in South Asia and Southeast Asia, accounting for the lifeline of the nation's economy. Agriculture shares the major contributor of the national economy of this region. Agriculture sector is the concerned with nation's food security and also the nutrition security as well. So now I'm going to talk about the fruit agriculture and fruit production scenario in South Asia. So South Asia actually constitutes this country: Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. Approximately 60% of South Asian citizens are engaged in agriculture, more than 60%. South Asia Global Hunger Index is highest in this region. The region global hunger is heavily influenced by child wasting and stunting rates, that 17% and around 36% that were also the highest in the world. The global hunger index is partly associated with the low intake of fruits. Of course, this include also the vegetables too. So percentage of all fruit production by region compared to the percent population. This slide, actually, I want to show here. My main focus is in the South Asia. We know about 2 billion people, accounting for around 25% of the world population, live in the South Asia, whereas the food production in this region only 16%. So there is huge gap actually. So we don't have the opportunity to consume sufficient amount of fruits. So total fruit production in South Asia during the period from 1990 to 2020. So we can see here, this is the population in billion here, in the respective year here. This is the total fruit production here in South Asia, total fruit production. And this percentage in the parenthesis above the bar represents the percent increase before year. So in 1990, total production was 11.97 million metric tons, and the increasement is 11.36%, around 12%. And this year only 6. So there is increased, but the percentage is not increased actually. Total production increased, but percentage does not increase. So in South Asia, food production approximately increased by 65% total during this time period. Over this period, population are increased by about the same ratio. So we can see here the population growth. So now I'm going to talk, because I'm from Bangladesh, and what is the situation in Bangladesh in fruit production and what we need to do. Actually, my focus on in Bangladesh. So Bangladesh is a country in South Asia, and population is about 160 million, and population density is, this is little bit maybe wrong information here. It's 1400 per square kilometer. Sorry for that mistake here. More than 1400 population per kilometer square. This is sometimes mistakes here. It is the 8th most. That means we are stand in the 8th position of the world population in Bangladesh. Total more than 8 billion people, we are in the 8th position. But Bangladesh is one of the most vulnerable countries to climate change. All we know, the southern part of Bangladesh is vulnerable to the salinity stress. The north and western part is the drought stress, and other part is the flood stress. So we have a lot of stress, lot of calamities, and lot of constraints or challenge. So agriculture in Bangladesh, what is the situation? The total land production here, we cultivable land. Our total crop production cover around 50% by rice, and only 7% food production here. So agriculture accounts for around 12.5% of the total GDP. Employment in agriculture about more than 40%. Rice is the main staple food, which cover around the 50% of the total production. Fruits account for about only 7% of the total crop production, which is far below the country's requirement. So we need to increase the production here. So this is the at a glance scenario of the fruit production in the country of Bangladesh. Number of cultivated fruits around more than 70. Area under fruit cultivation around 4,000 hectares. It's account for around 5% of the total land. Total production is little bit more than 5 million tons. Present availability of fruits 82 grams per day, but recommended requirement is around 200 grams. So we are deficit almost half of the way. So Bangladesh need to increase the fruit production more than 2 times to meet up the country requirement. So this is the fruit production. So we have actually 8 division in total. So just here the because there are microclimatic difference. So fruits production in the different division is like different. So sorry.
Professor Rezaul, you have 3 minutes remaining.
So major fruits, banana, mango, pineapple here, and mango and banana, the major fruits, and other is the some fruits here. So this is the here, and we can see here some new fruits increase in Bangladesh, like guava and jujube. But the major fruits remain almost statistics here, but we can see here jujube increase little bit right now. This is what I started in the first slide. We are 8th position in the population, but we are in the 37th position in fruit production in the world. So we are lag behind the fruit production still. So Bangladesh here, and the market scenario very unorganized and roadside, and this is the marketing or export system or export scenario of Bangladesh here, and major food product exporting country is India, and so achievement in the fruit industry here. So far, Bangladesh developed 72 fruit variety, and we have many of the delegates from US. They know we have the Bauji PC, Germplasm Center, and they have the very resource source to develop it. And opportunity, actually we have a lot of opportunity. As I this morning I said, our climate and soil is very much favorable for fruit production, actually for the tropical fruit. Land also are very rich and fertile. This is there is a scope in homestead and kitchen garden. We have 151 million homesteads, so we can utilize this one to increase the fruit production. Demand and market is going on day by day. So here is the scope. Sometimes does not work. So please change. We don't have the animation. Solution on unemployment due to the high population density. There are a lot of opportunity to income generation through fruit production. Tree plantation, as you know, to save the country must have the 25% of the total land area, the forest, but we have less than 15%. So we can increase the fruit production by planting the fruit tree over there, and youth force and inexpensive labor. So we have this kind of opportunity in Bangladesh. So we can use those things. Constraint of the production here, lack of yielding variety, irregular fruit bearing, and these days some climatic advancement, poor post-harvest technology, disease insect attack, insufficient irrigation management, so on. Sorry. constraints of production, inadequate or in land distribution and fragmentation of holding. So we have very small farmer, we don't have the very big area. So it's also the problem for fruit production in this region, actually, not only Bangladesh, also maybe Nepal, Sri Lanka, etc. So constraints of marketing, traditional storage system, lack of knowledge on supply chain, poor transport facility and packaging, lack of modern transport and marketing system. So way to move forward. So what to do? So we, in my opinion, is strengthening research on variety development through traditional and speed breeding approach. Development of climate resilient variety using biotechnological or molecular breeding approach. Strengthening research on promising exotic fruits species like apple, fig, pomegranate, tangerine, sweet orange, and so on. I include these fruits because I myself doing the research on this, and maybe these fruits can be commercially grown in Bangladesh, but yet still we need to investigate whether they are commercially viable or feasible or not. Emphasis should be given to underutilized fruits. We have a lot of underutilized food. They are already adapted to our local climate. So we can utilize those our fruits in the kitchen garden or homestead garden or our homestead. Building up awareness about everyday fruit consumption through training. Though we have some fruits, but people do not want to eat because they don't know its usefulness. So establishing of nutrition village to eradicate malnutrition. Actually, to implement the SDG goal, eradication of poverty, eradication of nutritional insecurity. Establishment of nutrition garden in primary and secondary school. We have many primary and secondary school, and if we can plant it, the fruit garden there, we can get use of good agricultural practices. This is very important for safe production as well as increase the productivity of the fruit. Certification of quality planting material, demonstration and extension, arrangement of training for farmers or entrepreneurs or youth, increase value chain, supply chain and storage facility, development of fruit processing industries. This is very important because we have the seasonal fruits, mango, banana, pineapple, and jackfruit. If the constant in the June to August, and all these fruits are grown in this time. So additional fruit just goes spoilage. So if we can establish the processing industry, they also include the strengthening public-private partnership. This is all about the opportunity. So I made it some conclusion here. South Asian people consume extremely lower amount of fruits than all health organization recommendation. So due to the intake or consumption of the low amount of food, the prevalence of non-communicable disease is very much high in this region. So, and another report says that men consume more fruits, vice versa, women consume less fruit than men. And interesting thing one, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Bangladesh consume the lowest amount fruits and vegetable in this region. There is a report. Hence, immediate initiative should be implemented to enhance the intake of fruits across the region. So with this, all these things, I hope and I expecting here is Liz, maybe Beth, Professor Beth. I'm very much interested to work with the Innovation Lab, UC Davis, to solve the malnutrition problem in Bangladesh as well as in this region. However, with me, another professor from horticulture department. So horticulture department is ready and very happy to work with you solely or with the umbrella of the SARC region. Either way is fine for us. So we have something. And the last one, the acknowledgement. I'm very much glad or acknowledged to my university, Bangladesh Agriculture. The university permit me to join the meeting here, workshop here. So I have to say something there. I bring something from the Nepal regional workshop. So I'm very much glad. Agriculture and Forestry University, Nepal, Forward Nepal, SARC Agriculture Center. Here is Dr. Nasrin Sultana and Ganga Acharya. They find me to come to here, and actually thank you so much to find me. And of course, the USID Feed for the Future Horticulture Innovation Lab is David. Thank you so much for your patient sharing. If you have any question, I'll be very happy to discuss with you. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, Professor, for your presentation on the scenario where we stand. It was very interesting to see that the South Asia region holds approximately 25% of the population, but we produce 16% of the world fruit. So, and that can also be linked with why we consume less, probably. So this is a food for thought, and definitely he, in his presentation, he forwarded some of way forward. He proposed about implementing the gap in so the good agriculture practices. And I remember that there was a SARC good agriculture practices document developed with the cooperation of FAO, and this has not really been in implementation. Although Nepal also have the gap developed for fruits and vegetables, but yes, they are the documents. So probably through this innovation lab, maybe we can also explore how these some of the features of this gap can be implemented. And also interesting to know that men consume more fruits than women. So this is something new to me. I think this is across the region. I think there is some we need to definitely in our development intervention, probably this is due to our culture or due to the price, or there could be several reasons that can be further explored. Thank you very much for your presentation. I was hoping that there was more elaboration about how the opportunity, although because many of the opportunities and challenges that you said, they're similar to the region, but still there could be some specific opportunity and challenges in terms of the Southeast Asia and South Asia, because we can see that Southeast Asia is really quite ahead in terms of production, in terms of the total production. So how we can keep up to their levels. So I think if some more those recommendations were also in the presentation.
South Asia produce a lot of fruits, but distribution is not the equal.
Okay.
Alone on 100.
Thank you. We can discuss that. Yes, thank you. We can discuss that later. But thank you very much. I'd like to give him a round of applause. And because you took 17 minutes extra than the allotted time. So for the fellow presenters, I would like to request you to kindly keep up with the time, because we don't want to stay late. But if you are interested to stay late, we can definitely go beyond. Otherwise, I think just to request you that that I didn't mention earlier. So before 5 minutes, I will signal you about the remaining time, which I also signal him. And then in the 1 minute, I will give another signal, and then request you to kindly sum up within that time. So we have now the second presentation is on the status, opportunities, constraints, and way forward for the promotion of indigenous fruits and vegetables in South and Southeast Asia. There are three presenters here. So I see Dr. Balkrishna Joshi coming in. I would like to request you for the presentation, sir. Thank you. Dr. Joshi, as many of us know, he heads the National Gene Bank under the Nepal Agriculture Research Council, and he has a very extensive knowledge in terms of this plant genetic resources conservation and its sustainable use. Over to you, Dr. Joshi.
Namaskar. It's my pleasure to share some things about
indigenous fruit and vegetables. This presentation is basically based on our experience, and we did some literature review. We tried to identify or to raise some issue covering the South Asia, but basically information are based on Nepal. This presentation mainly, I think, triggered the community, these expert teams, especially horticulturists, to raise or to plan for the next project proposal or even next planning. I know we all know what is the indigenous fruit and vegetables. We define here simply originated, occur naturally in that country. And indigenous fruit and vegetables are generally very rich in diversity at both species and landmass level. And they are locally very important. And most importantly, they have a greater role to provide the ecological services. They have a greater role. But my observations in the globe, if we see the past history, our agriculture research and development is monogenotyping the olds. That means we look for the single genotypes that do best all around the olds. This is the scenario, and this should consider as a gaps for future planning. We have to focus this point, why we are monogenotyping the olds. This is the major issue in my view. And we know all these indigenous fruit and vegetables should have with farmers to reach in traditional knowledge. It's a simple definition. We say non-exotic are indigenous. South Asia, we already know, are rich. This slide already shown by Dr. Arjun's. Here the gap, we try to identify. Here we try to identify the data of indigenous. There is a big gap on indigenous fruit and vegetable. These are the primary fruit and vegetable. We can see 26% area is increased from 2010 to 2020, and this already is shown. I'm not interested to repeat, and this is also already shown. We just see the gap here. The production is slightly increasing, but we have to meet the demands of the South Asia by developing a good strategy. This is the total productivity. Productivity is slightly increased, but based on over the decade, we can see roots and tuber is increased by 13.41%. But we can see it's the scenario in South Asia and all. There is a big gaps. But in case of roots and tubers, Asia is the productivity is very high compared to the old. In other scenario, we can have some projects or some concept to increase the productivity. And we have also opportunity, a chance to reshuffle the genotypes that could meet the old demands as well as the South Asian demands. The current status, we see here, these are some Nepalese research. We do some DNA work in indigenous because we always focus to respect the locals, to make them globally competent. Our mission is that with this scenario, we found, this is just rough data, almost every South Asian country, they have more than 100 species of indigenous fruit and vegetables. We could not count the land masses. There are so many land masses, but most of the land masses are neglected or not utilized. A country-wise data, I already said, is not available. So next phase, even this horticulture innovation lab could think as a major gap. We don't have any basic data on indigenous fruit and vegetable. Then how we can plan? This is a big challenge, and we can incorporate. And majority of the indigenous fruit and vegetable are neglected and unutilized. I suppose, therefore, we are here. How we can move this unutilized and neglected crops to, we call phase, means focus and exploited species. Mainly we say neglected and unutilized means not included in research, education and development, even large number of money and skills not invested in such species. We found many, we all know genetic erosion is the big challenge for us. And we have a very little work on the breeding wars. Without breeding wars, we cannot increase the productivity. We saw already the area could not be increased rapidly
there is a chance to breed, to have the breeding wars to increase the productivity. And we have started many conservation work, and this many of these methods we have targeted to conserve the indigenous. Some of them are very good to expand in the South Asia. We call school field gene bank, college field gene bank, agro gene sanctuary, tissue bank, and seed bank is the common everywhere in the world. These are the some species. The NARC are doing some research in the indigenous fruit and vegetable. Total, the indigenous fruit and vegetable we can classify as semi-domesticated, cultivated, wild native, and wild edible. But our focus, less focus is only on cultivated. In other three groups, we are almost zero. We have big scopes to utilize this diversity isolates, and most of the country, they have all semi-domesticated, wild natives, and wild edible. In conventional systems, and it's very common, we use the classification systems, this botanical and economical, but we rarely classify using this operational system. And our focus for the indigenous fruit and vegetable should consider this classification isolate. These are the practically useful tools. Even farmers can use this classification system. For example, we usually talk about major fruit, minor fruit, primary fruit, secondary fruit. We don't have any list of these species in that group, and what criteria should be of these groups. We are lacking in this area. We are now currently focusing, we call neglected and unutilized species. The opposite of this may be focus and exploited species phase. Within NUS, we have divided in the two groups using two criteria, one based on the familiarity, and another one based on the correct knowledge. And we have identified some future smart food. We call future smart species. We use some FAO criteria here to identify the future smart species, and we have some list from Nepal. I don't know about other Asian country, but we should identify the future smart species. Then we should begin to start projecting for improving their performance or any other agronomical practices. For accessing, for quantifying, because if we could not quantify the diversity, our future missions or a roadmap is very difficult to design or to stipulate. So first we have to identify the diversity at different levels. But current scenario, even if we Google the South Asian publication, we see the diversity only on morphological and molecular. Rest we ignore. So I suppose these teams will consider each species, they have different level of diversity. First, we have to identify and then design how we can exploit this diversity. Another importance, this is our perspective. We have many administrative units, country, province, district, but so far we don't have any index of fruit and species. So if we can identify the diversity index using the indigenous species and land assets based on country, province, or districts, we can target for conservation or for improvement. Another area, we have started some work on geographical indication. This is the very potential area because we have many indigenous fruit and vegetables, but totally almost in Nepal, zero. We don't have any indication tag to any genetic resources. India are, I think, they are good experience, and they have a many GI tag species that community directly get benefited. We did some work in Jumli Simi, Akbari Khursani, Mankamana Suntala, and others. They have a very reputed for particular area, and we can provide immediately the rights to this community. But in Nepal, we don't have any geographical indication law. Probably this year, the Department of Industry, they are, I think, working very hard and speedily. We had also regular discussion how we can materialize this one. This is the potential area. And we also regularly organize the germ plasma rescue because we know most of the indigenous vegetable and fruit are in danger. Then why we not rescue them? We rescue and also we did some repatriation. Another important issue for implementing any project in Nepal, there is an impact assessment for environment. But we don't have any such impact assessment systems for before implementing the project. Through this project, we found many species have been lost. that locally originated in a particular area. Therefore, we suggest our Ministry of Agriculture, we have here some ma'am, we regularly talk this issue. We should have a policy provisions before implementing the projects to assess the agricultural impact assessment, how many species or how many land masses they will impact it. Before implementing, then we should start rescuing them. This is total conservation approach that we adopted in the gene bank. We have many approaches that are necessary for conserving and utilizing indigenous species, particularly fruit and vegetables. These are some regular activity, I think, in each South Asian country they are doing, but most of the activities we favor to the exotic. These are some opportunity.
You have 5 minutes remaining.
I'll just read the point. I'll not explain because of time. One is improve human nutrition, health, and environment. We all know. Indigenous fruit and vegetable in research, education, and development. We have a good opportunity to develop the everything resilience, not only the climate, environment, and other biotic and abiotic space. We have a good opportunity to diversify the product of fruit and vegetables. And we can have plantations. We did many plantations, but they ignore the agro plantations in most of the Asian countries, particularly in Nepal. We never talk about the carbon sequestration from the fruit orchard. Even we had a meeting with the forest ministry. They counted the forest area, but they never counted the orchard with different kinds of fruit. And we can simply register. We have now simplified the registration process. We can simply register and marketize the indigenous fruit and vegetable. Under constraints, we already said everything is dominated by exotic. We always favor because they are ready-made material and easy to expand and easy to digest, easy to convince the grower. And we always talk indigenous has a low yield. Therefore, we are here. We have to develop the potentiality of this local indigenous food, not to favor to the exotic one. And we have a very limited information, so we have to develop the different strategy to generate the information. Need many years for variety development. This is another very important constraint. We have many problems from the wilds. We didn't have now wild fruits in the forest. Why we should not agro plantation in the forest so that the wild forest can enjoy there. Also, as well as we can domesticate the wild fruits. We have many wild, so nutritious. We call nutrition dense fruit. We can start domesticating them. Most of the fruit are clonally propagated. That means we have arrested the evolution process. If you arrested the evolution process, then everything will not be resilient. So this strategy should be considered in the future strategy. Many mango orchards in Nepal, particularly in Nepal, they are now in danger. Most of them are at the vulnerable area. Community forest in Nepal is so important, so successful. Why we could not implement with the same principle to the mango orchard? We can see so many diversity we have in mango orchard, but nobody is caring of them, even community. They all are in danger. Citrus decline is the major challenge. Citrus is one of the most important fruit for Nepal, but it's now under threat. Every farmer doesn't like to grow them. Why? Because of citrus decline. Way forward, this is the main themes: indigenous fruit and vegetable diversity for food, nutrition, environment, and business. First, we have to list and prioritize the native fruits and develop the site-specific variety. I'm always focusing to develop the site-specific variety that could be very in long-term sustainable and then can globalize for marketing. And we know South Asian country have a globally significant genetic resource. Then why we could not marketize globally? We have now very advanced tools, genomic tools, omics. Now we say omics era. Why we could not utilize the omics science in the South Asia? We can exploit heterosis. If we see our research and production area, they are not microbes, insect, and bird friendly. If this is the situation, then how we can maintain the genetic diversity using the pollinators, ecological services. So we have started insect field gene bank in many areas, and our focus research and production system should be microbes, insect, and bird friendly. I already said another area is geographical indication. and contribution of fruit plants on carbon sequestration. This is the good area to plant, and fruit and vegetable for urban area. Many for persons they want to live in urban area, but they don't have a production system. We can start developing the shade lobbing or short duration plant that can suit for even in the city area. Another, for citrus declining, is there any potential to use the anti-sense technology? This is a very good technology, and we have many success cases around the world to minimize or to control the virus. But I'm not sure whether we can use the anti-sense technology for citrus declining. If it could, then it revolutionize the citrus production in the South Asian country. And we can expand the conservation technology to many countries. We found many publications on fruit and vegetables, but very limited in indigenous. This year, Nepal government declared as a national agrobiodiversity year. And under these programs, under these declarations, we have some activity for indigenous fruit and vegetable. This is the gene banks building, and I would like to welcome you to visit. We have some indigenous fruit and vegetable, along with other many different kinds of agricultural resources. And our missions, I would like to thank all, especially AFU, Dr. Arjun. And our missions should be, let's make native fruit and vegetable species as well as land masses competent globally. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Joshi, for your very comprehensive presentation on the situation of, I was confused with IVF. I tend to say IVF, but then it's IFV, in indigenous fruits and vegetables. What is the scenario in terms of research and how we're, lacking behind in terms of the research and its and conservation of these species, and also has flagged some of the issues that probably the Horticulture Innovation Lab through this project need to address upon that might be of interest to the Nepal and also to the region. And particularly he has emphasized on the climate resilient varieties of these indigenous fruits and vegetables, and also the prospect of carbon sequestration of some of the fruits from the fruits as well, which we have not been accounting in Nepal so far. Definitely has given a lot of opportunities that exist with the technology, and what we need to do, what Nepal has been doing, has shared the experience from Nepal. And I'm sure that during the discussion among the groups, some other areas of the recommendation and the gaps might emerge that will be of importance for this, for the innovation lab, that the research that we're planning. So with that also, I would also like to thank Dr. Tek Gotami and Professor Ajay Kumar Shrestha, who has contributed to the paper, but here Dr. Joshi was representing them all. And I have also forgotten to acknowledge the presence of here Dr. Krishna Paudel, Dr. Prakash Acharya, and Mr. Omanath Sharma, who have been diligently taking the notes of the presentation here, and will also be there during our feedback collection and discussion. So now for the third presentation and the last presentation of this the first technical session, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Kalyani Mishra and Dr. Homnath Giri, who have both jointly prepared this paper. And the topic is on post-harvest management of fruits and vegetables in South and Southeast Asia. So I'm particularly intrigued by this topic because I had been heading post-harvest directorate earlier. And during time I have witnessed some of the initiatives under the UC Davis, the project that Madam was conducting. And we had also got some technology from that research. So I'm sure that the learning from these findings will definitely be important for the Horticulture Innovation Lab. So over to you, Madam. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair of the session and all the dignitaries. I am Kalyani Mishra Tripathi, Professor Horticulture, Agriculture and Forestry University. I just try to incorporate finding of some report of AVRDC, USAID, and then others teaching material as well as some future strategy. So I would like to present post-harvest management of fruit and vegetable, South and Southeast Asia. Agricultural system in Southeast Asia are predominantly smallholder farmers, and at least 20 to 44% of post-harvest losses is due to the lack of pre- and post-harvest technology, primary result of improper handling, transportation, and the packing and storage. And low-cost technology through intervention of the low-cost technology through precise resource effort has the potential to prevent use loss and help meet the ever increasing demand for food in Southeast Asian countries. And so intensive emphasis is required to develop the advanced post-harvest technology for improving the abroad food security. However, we have more data and more resource also conducted in this post-harvest technology. And I think it is already described in South Asian region. Just South Asian countries, South and Southeast countries just characterize the extensive poverty, hunger, and malnutrition, which causes the negative impact in economic development. And about 43% of the whole poor and 36% of the whole underutilized population is located in South Asia. So the South Asian region has but the South Asian region has enormous potential for the growing of tropical, subtropical, temperate, and the great commercial value for the export. And already Bangladesh professors also described the importance and opportunity of climatic potentiality of the Bangladesh. And similarly, in our country, we have 4 different climatic regions: tropical, subtropical, mild, temperate region. Within this region, there are so many microclimatic regions, and we can produce a large number of species at a time by utilizing this diversity. So this is the opportunity in our country. And just one data, this data, so that the most of the South Asian countries would depend on the agricultural labor force in agriculture is highest in the Nepal and Bhutan, and similar trends is also seen in the population living in the rural area. And the agricultural GDP also highest in the Nepal, and followed by the Afghanistan and Bangladesh. What are the problem and challenge in the market access? Is the problem and challenge in the South Asian countries, 8 countries, not only in the Nepal, very complex and fragmented marketing system, and lack of the appropriate supply chain organize and management, lack of the infrastructure, inadequate market information, poor marketing initiative and farmer market linkage, lack of the organized packing house operation, poor packaging and inappropriate transportation, inadequate storage facilities, lack of the uninterrupted power supply. These are all the characters are similar in all the South Asian countries. And this figure also so that the most of the developed country, the loss and wastage of the fruits and vegetable is due to the in Europe, North America, and Japan, China, and South Korea, there's a very low amount of post-harvest loss or loss and wastage of fruit and vegetable is seen in the post-harvest handling, storage, and transportation packaging, because red and yellow color. So this the data transportation, transformation, and packaging, post-harvest handling, and storage. But in case of other countries, South Africa, and Southeast Asia, and Latin America, even Latin America, most of the losses is due to the transformation in packaging and post-harvest handling. But in case of consumer level waste is high in the developed country, in the Europe, North America, and Japan, but in the consumer level waste is very low in the other countries. Just and also other this paragraph, this photo slide also so that the causes of the total food loss during post-harvest chain. Most of the post-harvest loss occurred at the time of harvesting, in proper judgment of maturity, and harvesting, food storage, processing, packaging, transportation, marketing, and consumption. These are the major causes of total food loss during post-harvest chain. And in case of supply chain of Bangladesh, this is the supply chain of Bangladesh, but it's similar to the Nepal. Because in Nepal, in generally, there are two actors, two channels in the market channels for increasing the post-harvest losses. Producers, this goes for pre-harvest contractor, and commission agent, wholesaler, retailer, and consumer. Another in simple thing, say channel second, producer, commission agent, wholesaler, consumer, retailers. Anyway, in both cases, in both value chain, marketing channel, qualitative and quantitative loss is very important. First, in the previous, we just focus on the increase the shelf life of fruit, increase the shelf life of vegetable. But nowadays we focus to the quality losses, because quality losses ranges from the 15 to 20%, and quantitative loss ranges from the 30 to 40%. Goes to the farm to the fork. In early morning, Professor Elizabeth also described the nutritional value of the fruits, and we cannot store, we cannot preserve this nutrition at the time of after harvesting. So we should conserve this this nutrition at the time of after harvesting. And what are the causes of post-harvest loss? We all know that there are so many causes of post-harvest losses, and this may be the lack of the knowledge and maturity indices, and inadequate sorting and grading, no washing or improper washing, or washing in the polluted water, inappropriate packaging, transportation problem, rough handling, lack of the packing. These are the causes of the post-harvest losses. And even we have the more research also conducted in the post-harvest technology, NARC, AFU, TU. Also, I mean, we involve in the apple, 10 different fruits, mainly apple, banana, grape, sweet orange. Among the 10 fruits, we just focus to the mandarin, apple, and mango. But there are so many fruits. We should intervention. We should focus on for the research, post-harvest research. These are the past intervention, like as in mandarin, pre-harvest hormone application, maturity indices, quality, improvement treatment, grading is already done. And mango, post-harvest studies on mango are extremely low. And similarly in papaya, only one technology and papaya harvester was observed with the publication. And similarly, in case of commodity, 13 different commodity was focused on post-harvest handling and post-harvest research. But among them, only few, tomato, onion, cauliflower, is emphasized for the research. And technology to extend the post-harvest shelf life of fruit and vegetable in Nepal is our condition in the marketing condition of this. And the packaging, the present packaging system is still depend on the traditional form of package like bamboo basket and gunny bag, and 25% government subsidy popularized the plastic crates, especially plastic crate. These are the packaging system. I think it's Cambodia. And packaging, these are the packaging in our packaging research activity of student of AFU. I think it's at the time of ABRDC USAID supported project. And in transportation, most produce is transported is non-refrigerated truck, and very little information is available on actual loss of produce during transportation. Transportation in refrigerated vehicle is thus required to handling of such sensitive produce. Temperature management during transportation of fresh and vegetable are over long distance is very critical. These are the situation of the transportation. And at the time of trial, this is the survey report, amount of upper and lower layer losses associated with the means of transport used for tomato. In case of basswood transportation, upper layer post-harvest loss is near about 15%, and the lower level losses is near about 20, more than 25%. Similarly, bicycle, jeep, pickles, pickup trucks also reduce the post-harvest loss at the time of transportation. On farm storage, On-farm storage required during gluts and in a remote inaccessible area in the country. Low-cost evaporative pool chamber, EC chamber, zero energy chamber is also popular in the farm side. It is very helpful. It almost it decreases 5 to 6% degree centigrade temperature in the summer season, but it is not feasible in the rainy season. And similarly, low-cost pool board can also used as a farmer level. This is a farmer level pool board. This is a pool board, but due to the electricity, we cannot conduct this resource in this pool board chamber in our AFU Agriculture and Forestry University. And storage, other storage, lack of cold sufficient store facility have affected safe marketing of fruit and vegetable, and there are 35 cold storage, but it is not sufficient for the commodity. And improve cellular storage and drying. It is very oldest and cheapest method, but nowadays there are different types of dryer are available in the market. And other product diversification, limited use of the juice sauce and ketchup, puri and jam chips, and imported can and soup powder are available in the supermarket. But in our context, ketchup preparation women's cooperatives prepare the ketchup, the unseasoned tomato production. And for future strategy, what are the future strategy for increase the shelf life and increase the post-harvest of fruit and vegetable production and productivity by selection, breeding, biotechnology, and integrated pre and post-harvest management, because our our varieties we are very lack of the biotechnology system. Biotechnologically, we have very poor, and minimization of the wastage and quality loss through development of cold chain technology, and minimization of waste and quality loss by reduction in the number of intermediate produce handling stage and agencies, and stabilization of produce supply and price by maintenance of proper procurement and distribution chain, and increment in the farmers' share of the consumer price, harmonization of the various food law, rationalization of the tax, health, fitness, well-being, and the convenience food like instant mix, ready to cook, ready to eat, and ready to drink food and beverage become order of the day. And post-harvest technology of new and emerging. Besides this vegetables and fruits, and the dragon fruit post-harvest technology, and to develop the technology for dragon fruits processing, dragon fruit post-harvest life, strawberry, it is very perishable and quickly there's shelf life is very short. Blueberry, bamboo shoots. Bamboo shoot is very famous in the Cambodia, Vietnam. Bamboo shoots, bamboo powder, curry, and asparagus, moringa, spices, nut, and traditional and indigenous fruits and vegetables need to upgrade for the post-harvest and preservation technology, and post-harvest technology for new and emerging for food markets, especially fresh produce, organic, wild fruits and vegetable, minimum preservation, low food miles. Low food miles means, as a general rule of thumb, for the same product, the lower the food miles, the less distance as travel, and the better the choices for the environment and for your health. So low carbon footprints and local produce, health food, functional food, those foods which contain more ingredients, more nutrition as a demand of the market. And so these are the recommendations of my presentation. Strengthening research and development in the post-harvest and market-driven technology, exclusive support for infrastructure, post-harvest study loss, collection center, market and cold storage, improved knowledge in maturity indices, harvesting, grading, packaging, transportation, and sorting of fruit and vegetable, create awareness of food safety issue for international trade, strengthening of small and medium entrepreneurs to create direct linkage with the small farmers, traders, and processors with the urban and export market. Thank you. Thank you.
for your presentation on including the whole value chain where the post-harvest intervention can be made, and also shared some of the experience from the university. Just I would like to invite you to take a seat, please. Because while working in the post-harvest management for some time, I also realized that first is that there are not many technologies available to the farmers, and whatever technologies are available, farmers are not adopting them. That means maybe it could be because of the cost, because of the feasibility of the technology to be used by the farmers, or maybe the availability of the technology in the market. So there are some of those concerns that may also need to be looked upon. And also I'd like to share, when you talked about the maturity indices of the farm, the crops to be harvested. I remember, because this is the apple harvesting season in Mustang, and I can see the colleagues from, from our ministry also who have been working in those regions. Farmers, they tend to look at the market and not at the maturity indices. So if they see that the opportunity in the market, they harvest it, prior to reaching the maturity indices. So one good example that was observed in those apple producing district in Mustang was that the community decided the harvesting date not to harvest before that date, so that the product come in the good quality in the market. So that is one example where even if without the technical knowledge, if the farmers are convinced about the way their the commodity is not well represented in the market, that could be one area of intervention. And also maybe we may, during the discussion, we may also need to look upon the indigenous practices that farmers are adopting to conserve those for the post-harvest management. Some of the technologies they have been using, but there are some improvements might be needed. For example, the way they dry and store the products, and there is some aflatoxin growth or other mold growth. So how can we improvise in that section? Probably these things should also come in during the discussion session. I'm just flagging some of the concerns that might be of interest during the session based on my experiences. So with that, we have come to the end of the technical presentation session. And as I see in the time, we have been allocated 1 hour for the feedback and discussion, and also the sum up of the technical session. So because we are already delayed by some minutes, so with the permission from the organizers, I would like to request this session to be reduced to 45 minutes. So I request all the facilitators, our rapporteur friends, to kindly arrange for these feedback sessions, because I understood that there will not be to and fro discussion, and there will be only the collection of the feedbacks in the meta card. So with that, I would like to now request the organizer and the rapporteur friends to come out with this. Thank you. Is there some announcement? Okay, madam, please. Oh, yes, please. And before that, I would like to also like to introduce our rapporteurs. So kindly take stand up to show you that who are here, because I know, but many of you may not be knowing. Dr. Prakash Acharya and other two, Dr. Krishna Paudel. Okay, he's there, and Umanath Sharma. Okay, so those three our experts will be helping you with the facilitation. Thank you.
Thank you, Sabnam ma'am. Now we'd like to move forward with this technical session with the group discussion, and we divide the participant in 3 groups, and the list of the participant in each group will be shown in the screen. And if we forget to list the name of any person, we really apologize for that one, and you can join your favorite group voluntarily. And if anybody wants to change the group, you can do it according to your expertise. Okay. The list of the participants for the first group is Dr. Giridhari Subedi, Mr. Madhav Lamshal, Mr. Vishal Shrestha, Dr. Umesh Acharya, Mr. Sashan Devkota, Mr. Ram Bahadur Keshi, Mrs. Anju Adhikari, Professor Dr. William Van Bayard, Professor Dr. Tamanna Haque, Mrs. Nasurana Begum, Mrs. Morzina Begum, Mrs. Swastika Shrestha, Ms. Bimla Acharya, and Dr. Smriti Kala Panta. And okay, and all the participants can join in that kernel table. And I would like to request the rapporteur to facilitate this group discussion. Okay, the list of the participants in group 2 is Mr. Dhanbahadur Thapa, Mrs. Rita Bastakoti, Mr. Ram Hariti Milsina, Dr. Kalika Prasad Upadhyay, Mr. Sushil Ghimire, Dr. Santosh Shrestha, Mr. Lal Bahadur Chetri, Mrs. Pramila Wagle, Professor Dr. Nanda Joshi, Dr. Jinil Bert Larsson, Dr. Bhaneshwar Pokhrel, Dr. Ganga Datta Acharya, Mr. Ram Krishna Neupane, and Dr. Narayan Khanal. And they can join the table that are on the right, on the left-hand side. And the list of the participants in group 3 is Dr. Homnath Giri, Dr. Sundar Tiwari, Dr. Pushpa Paudel, Mr. Manoj Dital, Dr. Purushottam Khatiwada, Professor Dr. Durga Debkota, Dr. Hari Krishna Panta, Mr. Krishna Sapkota, Mr. Nitesh K. Paudel, Professor Dr. Elida Beg Mecham, Dr. Nasreen Sultana, Dr. Fardowsi Islam, and Mrs. Srishti Chaudhary. And they will join this middle table. And I'd like to request rapporteurs to facilitate this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you.
What's that? Group 3, I think it was a game. Yeah.
Can I make a quick announcement? So I'm gonna let all the groups know. So for the Horticulture Innovation Lab, in addition to talking about challenges and opportunities, we heard a lot from the presentation. You may have some new ones to add and we'd like to capture those. But then I want you to talk about priorities. Because we can't do all of those things because it's too many, right? So we need to think about what are the most important things, what things need to be packaged together to be effective. Okay, and then it needs to be something that can be accomplished in 4 years. That's how much time we're going to have. And we do, we're going to be investing about 1.4 billion in the region. Sounds like a lot of money, but it's not going to build roads, right? So we're not going to be building roads or expensive buildings. So we need to just keep that in mind. Okay, but the biggest thing is priorities and anything that we're missing.
Yeah. So, so welcome, welcome everybody to this mini group. Small group.
Excuse me. I request the respective presenter to be present in the respective group so that the discussion can be held in that direction.